Dude.
Life can be a challenge. Life can seem impossible.
Oh my god.
It's never easy when there's so much on the line. Herman Cain.
Wow.
Hi, welcome to No Nerds Allowed. My name's Jackson McMurray.
My name is Adeline McMurray.
My name's Tasch.
My name's Tabitha Bardall.
And this is a very special episode of NPR's No Nerds Allowed.
NPR?
Yeah, we got the
ASMR
NPR contract.
experience. Yeah, we didn't tell you.
No, what is that?
We're gonna be doing a lot more hard-hitting journalism. A lot more on location filming. It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
By filming, I mean recording because it is an audio medium. But you know.
You guys are actually our last low-profile guests. Our next week is going to be Ira Glass.
Low
and then we're just gonna be
profile, God,
up
thanks.
From there.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I'm gonna get Michelle Obama on. It's fine.
Okay, so this week, this is our second Pokemon episode. This time with two guests, a landmark two guests.
Oh, yeah.
Both Tasch Ritter and Tabi Bardall. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and plug your shit. Do whatever you have to do.
You go first.
Oh fuck. Listen. I was not prepared, which is ironic considering I make a living on the internet. Hi, I'm Tasch, aka
Tash.
Tasch Draws. You can find all my shit at Tasch Draws on Twitter. I just listen.
Step it up, Tasch. You gotta bring your A game to this
Tosh
podcast.
Straw on Tosh Straws?
Yes, that's one thing I do. Okay, all right. It's hard to pitch myself.
Okay.
Because
Stop. Okay,
I do
stop.
too-
Everything stop.
No,
take it from the top. Do some vocal warm-ups,
fuck,
and we'll take
okay,
it one more time, Tasch.
That's the only vocal warm-up I know.
Okay, great. That'll do it. That's all you need.
Listen, it's hard to pitch myself because I do too many hobbies because ADD. So,
That's
but
what
yeah,
we should have just called the podcast.
Too many hobbies because of ADD.
that is a good title for a podcast. Maybe I'll steal that. Actually, who knows?
Yeah, you can take that. We just want 10%.
Okay, all right, that's a deal. But yeah, no, I draw, I do art. I am a game developer, a voice actress, and a dumbass. That's
Certified.
yeah. I guess.
Okay, cool.
She's got a
yeah.
diploma.
Is that
All
good
right,
enough to
Tabi.
pitch? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Tabi, you have 5 seconds. Go.
Okay, my Twitter is Tabster and find us alive at 107. Twitter.
Oh shit.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. Fuck.
Bam.
I'm an idiot.
Bam.
Find us live. Okay. Yeah. That's it.
Which is also on NPR now.
Yeah, that's true. Find Us Alive got the NPR sponsorship too, their first audio drama.
Hell yeah.
Michelle Obama is also going to be on that.
Michelle Obama is Site 107.
So, okay, we have to jump back into this. Tasha and I recently got into a Twitter beef regarding Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer.
God.
Our favorite
yeah.
Kick
video
your
game.
ass so hard, dude.
And today we found out the news that it is soon going to be ported to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. And it is the time we are going to be at the forefront of the movement to start a competitive scene.
Weird.
Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer.
My only dream is that they do nothing to improve the audio of the game. I don't want them to change a single thing about the weird things that Sebulba says as he flies around and sells you garbage. I don't want them to fix it.
So I'm not familiar with this. Can you give me an example?
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so here's a great one.
The foreigners come in here, they look around, they know bye.
Okay, after
like
you
that.
complete a race, Watto sings the Cantina theme from the
Oh
original
my
Star
God.
Wars. And it sounds like...
That's excellent.
Oh my God.
Do you want to see my chance cube?
That's not real.
That's
No, it
real.
is.
That's a thing that he says to you, a 9-year-old boy.
I cannot believe they're streaming the old game MIDI files directly into my headphones at this exact moment. It's like it's just like it was yesterday.
What if that's our campaign? Is let Jackson voice Watto in the new Switch port of Star Wars Episode 1
Yeah. Sorry, I said
great.
Sebulba. That's wrong. I don't remember any of their names.
Okay, listen.
Do you want to see my chance cube?
Okay, no, campaign. Jackson voices Watto. Addie voices Sebulba.
There we go.
There we go.
That's what we
Okay.
need.
Give me your best shot at Anaya Poodoo, Adeline.
Oh god, that's the one I don't remember. Shadadanaya, boo you!
I mean, it was a good try.
It wasn't.
I give that a 10 out of 10.
Amazing.
Spicy 10. So,
This is the start of my illustrious career.
God.
Anyway, speaking of Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, this episode is about Pokemon the Movie 2000.
Yep.
Which, so the reason we've got Tash on for this episode, besides her being a dear friend, is just that we talked about Pokemon the Movie 2000 a lot on the last episode she was on.
Yeah.
And when we decided we wanted to cover it in full, we figured we should probably get her back on for that one.
Just to be fair.
Also featuring Tabby Bardall, who was on the last Pokemon episode. So what I'm trying to say is we don't want any guests, we just feel obligated
We
to
just
get
have
these guests
to.
on.
We have to.
And this episode, for reals, is the last one that I will be on.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
For No Nerds
Yeah.
Allowed.
Your days are numbered.
Yeah, after this, I'm toast.
Yeah, and same here, but not because I will be too low profile, but then I will actually achieve such high profile status that even No Nerds Allowed
Wow.
will not be able to handle me.
You're going to be above Michelle Obama soon.
Yep,
That's what you're claiming?
that's what I'm claiming.
Tash, better
pulling
than
a-
And I'm
Michelle
sticking
Obama.
with
Pulling
it.
a
That's
John
what I'm
Lennon.
saying, and I'm laying in this grave.
So yeah, I'm not taking this bit any further. Let's move on.
Before I get canceled, please.
Before my crippling self-anxiety, whatever, my actual, like, what's the word? When you're,
Are you saying you're afraid that you're going to get
hubris.
called out by Michelle Obama?
that is a fear of mine. I definitely live with that every day, but,
God, she's on Twitter.
self-conscious. It took me that long to process. That's fine.
Your arrogance. Your hubris.
Okay. So
Pokemon.
decided to switch things up a little bit on this viewing. When I was looking through some stuff on the original Pokemon movie, I saw people say a lot that the subbed and the Japanese and the English versions of the movie are very different. Really? So, for this one, I went out of my way to find a subbed version of the movie, and I watched that instead. And let me tell ya, it's pretty much the same. It's not really that different.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Oh my
But
God.
I do have some insight about the differences between the two versions, because I did watch both. Oh, should I say them? Should I say what those insights
yeah,
are?
I was like,
Yes.
I thought you were
right
going
now,
to.
or like,
Please,
I mean, look,
stop talking.
I kind of figured we'd just get to them as we get to them. It's mostly the same. The only thing I can say is that this movie is very sort of juvenile and cheesy in a lot of ways when you're just
How
watching
dare
the
you,
English
sir.
version.
yeah.
But weirdly, the Japanese version is just sort of easier to take seriously.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't know why that is. It's just the subtle shifts in, like, the writing and just the times they use the jokes. And, like, sometimes the scoring is different. And for some reason, it never feels quite as, like, moderately cringy as the English version does. I don't know.
As the English version is always on the cusp of being.
Right, yeah. And, like, not that I'm, like, talking shit on the English version, because, like I said, they're mostly the same. There's a slight difference in attitude, I guess, that's hard to put your finger on. But, like,
I'm there with you on that. I feel like a lot of, especially early English dubs, just in general, they have just that level of it's just not quite. It's not quite there. And you can't.
Right.
Like
It's just not the same.
it's not.
Yeah. And yeah, the biggest, like, content difference I found between the two was that there's that whole bit of business at the end in the English version where Lugia's like, Ash, you are the chosen one. You have to go save the world. You have to do this. And Ash is like, I don't know. What if I can't? What if I can't do it? And but in
Ash,
the...
you haven't even tried to do it yet. But what if I can't do it?
What if I can't?
Hold on, I've got to fulfill my movie quota of crying at least once.
But I just think it's interesting that they don't. And I also might be misremembering because I did watch the movie 2 different times, and sometimes it can blend together. But
That's true.
there's not as much chosen one rhetoric in the Japanese version. Lugia is just kind of more like, Ash, you're here right now. Like, you're in a position to fix it for no particular reason.
Hey, you kid, help me out with something.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like that.
Kid.
You got some good fingers. Can I use them to pick up some orbs real quick?
Okay, petition. Well, since we're redubbing
go
the
ahead.
pod
No,
racing
it's not
game,
what you think, I swear.
since we're redubbing the pod racing game already, I say that we also redub Pokemon the movie 2000, but everything's the
Right.
same except that Lugia talks like that. He's just got that dumb accent, you know. He's just like,
Got a Brooklyn accent. He's like, hey, I'm
Hey, you
walking
bud,
in.
stop fighting.
hey, the song. I heard the song. Like,
I heard the song.
what the fuck is up here? What are you
I
doing?
can't wake up unless you play the song.
I have a
Hey,
specific
knock it off!
routine.
There's people on the island over here! You're ruining their way of life! Come on, guys!
All the Pokemon in the entire world showed up, and you're just not gonna stop fighting it all.
Every Pokemon shows up, but you don't call, you don't write, you don't.
I'm just asking for once a year.
Your nephew, your cousin is here, but you can't get your lazy ass to show up. You live closer than your cousin does, and your cousin is here.
By the way, side note, Meowth does not have a Brooklyn accent in the Japanese version, and it's 100 times more annoying.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my god. I'm sorry, you just kind of blew my mind, because, like, of course, the Japanese Meowth would not have a Boston
Would not
accent.
have a yeah.
But that never even crossed my mind that was such an integral part of Meowth for my entire childhood.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not even
Yeah,
supposed
literally,
to talk.
In
Why
Meowth,
am I upset about this?
In Japanese, Meowth is like,
I'm Meowth, hi, how's it going? I'm so funny, I'm the comic relief!
and you're like, oh wow, great, love it.
You're
love
like,
that.
oh,
Cool,
Jesus.
cool. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
But the other thing, if you remember, I mean, it's not at the beginning of the movie, but I feel like we do need to do a deep dive on this sequence. There's that moment where Professor Oak is kind of explaining what's going on scientifically
Of course.
in the helicopter. And in the English version, he's kind of like, well, if the elements get out of balance, then that'll affect the ocean, and then the world will end. And you're like, okay, fine, like, whatever. There's
like, right,
so
right, right.
much... There is so much more in the Japanese version. It's
Oh my
insane. He spends like 2 minutes being like, well, if the fire god melts the ice god's ice, then it makes water. That's where the ocean comes from. And then if you put electricity into the ocean, we all know that it creates protein, the basis of life. And that's where life came from. And because of that...
Oh my god.
Because of that, that's why the currents are getting weird now that everything's out of balance. And that's why the world's gonna end. And you're like, what the fuck? What are we talking about?
You're like, yeah, okay.
I feel like that's the fatal flaw with this whole movie. That they're like these like 3 elemental forces that like if they get out of whack it'll destroy everything, and it's like fire and ice, and you're like, oh yeah, because they're like opposites, and like fire melts ice, and like yeah I get that makes sense, and they're like, and also lightning is here, and that would also be bad if that happened, and you're like, okay,
You're like, God.
whatever
God.
you say.
Oh my god. Okay, I just had... Okay, guys, holy shit. I'm about... Listen.
All right, okay.
I just had an epiphany here. All right. So but you're saying the protein's basis of life, whatever. So what you're saying is in the Japanese version of this, that Professor Oak described this like this was how life kind of was brought about, at least in their universe, is
I suppose
that like
so.
the things, and that's what caused life. Okay, so what if, because we only had 150 Pokemon in the original series, and this was only the second fucking movie.
I see where you're going with this.
Because of all of this shenanigans happening and all the crisis because of fucking Lawrence the Third or whatever his fucking name was.
Don't even say what his name is.
What?
The thing, I guess that's his name, or the Collector.
He's Lawrence the Third.
Right. So all this shenanigans, whatever, and like everything was going nuts, and then all that weird green shit that poured out at the
Yeah, all the green goo.
The green goo was life.
Yummy.
So
life.
they didn't notice it right away, but now it's been 10 years. Not 10 years. It's been way more than that. What the fuck? It's been 20 years since that movie came out.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 days.
Say in the past 20 years, there's now been 600, 700 other Pokemon that have just kind of appeared. It's because
Lugia created the new generations.
Lugia's the granddaddy. That's what I'm saying.
And if you don't like the new Pokemon, then it's Lugia's fault. That's who you tweet at.
Yeah.
I guess technically we can just blame this all on Lawrence. Because he's an asshole and he has one of those names that you can just blame him anyway. Like,
if you don't like the new Pokemon, but you do like Geodude, then I don't have anything for you. Fuck you.
Are you a Gen 1 elitist?
What if this rock had arms? Man, that's so much better than if garbage had arms. Shut up.
Oh my god, we should call it Geodude.
Geode.
And
What
they
if there
did
was
a little chef kiss and they sent it out into the world.
What if there was a seal?
Mm.
And they're like, okay, cool, that's one.
What if
there were 3 different types of seals?
Okay, but what if we literally just have a fish, but it turns into a fucking sea monster?
Sea monster. It turns into the Loch Ness monster.
The Rock Ness monster.
I'm trying to think of other bad Pokemon.
There's none, Jackson. There's 0.
Right. Well, I mean, they're kind of all bad.
Oh, no, guys. What if we had a
We can't start
chandelier?
pulling on this sweater, or we're just gonna realize that all Pokemon are maybe bad.
Right.
I mean, I was about to say, there's some pretty... I'm, for one, am a big fan of a marble, but it's electric.
Right, that's a good one.
Okay, maybe unpopular opinion, but can I just say, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno, maybe bad Pokemon designs. Maybe
No, you're
they all
wrong.
look kind of stupid. Maybe Voltrace looks like a weird turkey.
You're wrong. You ran this by me while we were watching it, and I heartily disagree.
Maybe he looks like a freaking rubber chicken that someone set on fire.
That's what's cool about him. That's what makes him good.
Why are
what's
you
good.
roasting him?
Zapdos looks like a bird flew into a window. And that's just what they did. Articuno's good. I like Articuno. Articuno's the only good one.
Oh my
You
God.
cannot roast Articuno for its looks. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Look, it's got that nice glossy tail and the 3 diamonds on its head. It's very nice. It's got a little glitter spray that comes out of its ass. It's very nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
I will say, regardless of the quality of their designs, I for one am a fan, but regardless of the quality, I mean, they were displayed in those weird little 3D models on the dude's ship that had like maybe 3 polygons total between all of them. So that definitely didn't help them much in that department.
It did them no favors.
This triangle represents Moltres.
It's no longer
No, the triangle would be Zapdos.
Right,
Yeah, come on.
All right.
It's no longer
I do
collective
like
2 brain
listening-
cells. It's like collective 2 polygons when you're going back this far.
I do like listening to these birds scream. Just maybe the whole movie.
Yeah, no, they're
Oh
great.
my god. It's so good.
There's
I
so
gotta
many
say-
sequences
So
where they're talking in the ship, and whenever there's a pause, you just hear like,
Here, okay, it's okay. I got it. I got the Foley for this. Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh god. Oh, she's leaving.
I have no idea how that sounded.
Guys, they're here.
I have no idea how that sounded. I'm very excited for the episode to drop.
It was very good.
You'll have to
Sounded good.
listen back.
Okay, so if we want to just get into this thing from the beginning, I really appreciate the very opening sequence where Lawrence III is just like, here's what I want to do. I want to get Lugia because I'm an asshole. What I have to do to do that is I have to get all the 3 other guys because shit will get out of whack and Lugia will come to fix it, and that's when I'm going to go get him. I have a big ship, and that's my whole evil plan. Roll, like, opening credits roll. And I was like, oh, cool, nice. Like, I'm glad that I know that, like, right up front, you know?
Yeah.
They don't have to push all the information you need to know to, like, a more graceful point, you know? It's just like, here's what needs to happen for this story to work. Here it is. Let's go. And you're like, oh, nice. I'm down with this.
It really reminded me a lot of the one in the first movie of
Giovanni?
oh my god, no, Mewtwo. What's his name? Of like Mewtwo's monologue. Is that something that happens at the beginning of every movie?
No,
like
I
a
mean,
bad
I
guy
think that's
monologue?
quite the same thing because the things that they set up in the beginning of Mewtwo Strikes Back
Yeah.
kind of aren't essential
Relevant?
knowledge, for the movie that follows.
Right.
I mean, we talked about it in that episode, they cut that sequence out for TV, and it's just like, because it wasn't meant to be the beginning of the movie, and it's just like,
Right.
it's just like flavor text, I guess.
Do you want to see Mewtwo in a Power Rangers suit? No, you don't? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Good. You passed the test.
Right.
You're not one of those kinky motherfuckers from Twitter. We see you.
But not to say that it's not cool. I don't want to shut you down, Tabby, but like,
Oh,
I don't
no,
know if
no,
it's
no,
quite
no.
the same. I also need to point out that in Japanese, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, their names are Fire, Thunder, and Freezer.
Nuh-uh.
Those are the Japanese names for those Pokemon.
That's really good.
But it's not like the Japanese words for those things. It's like in English, the Japanese version is, they say Fire, Thunder, Freezer.
Okay, if it was Japanese, it would be like the one who freezes. I'd be like, okay, that's fair. But in English, that's just freezer like a refrigerator. That's not even.
No, I like the names, or the English names, rather, for the birds. I think they're fucking cool.
Yeah, me too.
Moltres.
This is a Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos Stan account, and Adeline isn't invited.
No, I like the names are good. I just think that Zapdos and Moltres need to get their shit together.
Moltres
Also-
looks like a phoenix. What is your problem?
No, he looks like one of those screaming rubber chickens, but like somebody
He
set it
does
on
not.
fire.
He's
doesn't look like
beautiful.
that.
He does.
No.
Also, the Japanese title for this movie is Mirage Pokemon, Lugia's Explosive Birth.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
It shouldn't be.
I mean, like, I have a very visceral reaction to that, but I also had a pretty visceral reaction to the power of one and the really cringy-ass intro, which, for the record, I did you guys a favor, and ahead of time, I grabbed the soundbite from that ridiculous 90s intro with, like, the thing, like, like all the like, Phil Collins drums.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I have a sound clip of that, so you can play that at any point in this podcast.
Perfect, thank you.
Have that cringy ass 90s song that they were all dancing to in the opening scene.
Yes.
Okay, so here's some more context. I sent everybody in this group chat a video that I guess was on the VHS of this movie, which is somewhere, I guess they had some release party where they had the boy band who sang the We All Live in a Pokemon World song playing a live concert.
Oh my god, wait. I missed that you posted that. I just barely saw it in the chat.
Okay, yeah, no. We can take a moment and we can all soak that in.
Oh no.
Are we playing? Okay. Are we playing it?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I'll just cut this out if you guys want to watch it.
Let's
I watched it. Oh my god.
I'll just peek in for a second. Oh god. Oh, the frosted tips. Oh.
I know.
Guys, tag yourself. I'm the girl with the backpack.
Oh no, I'm the girl with the backpack.
Okay, fine.
I want to be the one with the backpack.
No. I'm the cardboard cutout of Ash.
I'm all the crowd shots of the 10-year-olds in really big t-shirts because it's the 90s. The energy of the performance is what I don't understand. It like honestly like the best comparison I think is like TikTok stars. Where it's this weird, it's a weird balance of them trying to be both sexy and child appropriate at the same time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's oh my god.
It's weird.
So for people at home, I will be posting this on our Twitter, at No Nerds Allowed. This is simultaneously a plug for our social media and sorry, I can't put it in the podcast. Okay, it's a video.
And maybe also a warning to not go to our Twitter because this will be on it.
Might be a deterrent. Okay, but I want to read to you guys some of the comments from this video.
What years are these comments from?
Okay, so this is one from 4 years ago. This person says, "Win a Pokemon concert is better than the 2015 VMAs."
Okay.
Now, I don't remember the 2015 VMAs, so I cannot dispute that.
Alright, hold on. I'll man in the chair mode real quick. You keep going.
Okay.
What were the 2015 VMAs like?
One person here says, "When people could actually sing."
Oh my god.
And here's my favorite, this guy who says, "Oh, the 90s. The time of good clothes, good people, good music, and good Ash."
Good Ash.
Good Ash.
Is that supposed to be like a pun and he's trying to say ass, or is he legit just like, oh man, I miss old Ash.
I have a feeling he's making a commentary on the current state of Ash.
Oh my god.
Which I have no feelings about, but I'm sure a lot of people very much do.
It feels like he might also be like talking about like marijuana. I'm just like not sure how.
Right? But okay,
damn.
So this era of Pokemon is sort of dominated by the outcry from parents being like, I don't know if I want my kid to be part of this. Like, it's so huge and so weird.
Scary.
Like, we don't understand it. And video games are evil. But, like, and I always have dismissed that as nonsense because it is. But, like, watching this video, I kind of get it, right? Like,
yeah,
they're, like, singing "We All Live in a Pokemon World," and it's, like, this pop concert with kids, like, screaming and cheering, and you're like, oh, what is this? This is definitely a cult. This is, like, for sure a cult. And it's like, your kids are...
It's no more cultish than, like... I don't know, Teletubbies?
Teletubbies even for Teletubbies.
Hold on.
More cultish than Pokemon does to me, at least, right?
I think to me, what pushes it over the edge is the fact that there was so much Pokemon music, right? They, like, manufactured all these pop songs. They're like, oh, my kids are playing Pokemon video games, buying Pokemon trading cards, watching Pokemon on TV, and listening to Pokemon music that has lyrics like, "We all live in a Pokemon world." And you're like,
but you look me in the eye and you tell me that Tinky Winky and Dipsy and Lala and Poe were not up to some shit.
Okay.
I'm so completely baffled by this line of logic.
When has Teletubbies, like, ever, like, spread out outside of its TV show?
Into my heart.
Okay, Tosh, do you have some updates on the 215 VMAs?
I do. There's a lot to unpack here, but there's also a thing to unpack with the Teletubbies, and I don't.
We got a lot of suitcases.
Here, look, I am baggage claim right now. Okay, like there's just
We're at the airport.
First off, Tinky Winky is 11 feet tall. I don't know if you know this.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad we're all on the same page. Just want to make sure that was notated.
Everybody was aware.
And that the listeners at home know that Tinky Winky's 11 feet tall. Fuck.
Yeah, no, the bunnies that they have on Teletubbies, they're actually giant rabbits. They're not regular sized bunnies. They're the ones that are like the size of people.
Yeah, no.
And then the 2015 MTV Video Music Awards. I just peeked on the Wikipedia thing, and I was just kind of skimming through to kind of try and remember vaguely what was going on. Apparently, there was peak Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, like all that shit, at the same time.
Right.
That
was
makes
like
sense.
that was like maximum pop music is bullshit phase.
Yeah, Justin Bieber.
I feel like. Oh yeah.
There's just like all that stuff, but then I also see here just this little line in the first paragraph that says, during his acceptance speech, Kanye West announced that he would be running for the 2020 U.S. presidential election. And
Oh yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, he did. He did say that. It's cool that it was in 2015 when there was a presidential election happening in the immediate future. He was like, he had the self-awareness to be like, okay, look, I'm not gonna be ready for like this one. I gotta take this seriously.
Yeah, he's gonna go to school. He's gonna educate himself.
Okay.
He's gonna get some experience, and then he's gonna run for president.
But listen, it doesn't sound like he committed, because I'm
where are you?
Where he at?
Where he at?
Yeah.
Cue
Kanye.
the gif of just like from The Room or whatever, just like looking around.
John Travolta.
I guess.
Did you just say it was from The Room?
My brain can't remember shit. What was it?
Okay.
It's from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, no,
was
it
too
is John
busy.
Travolta from Pulp Fiction, one of
Sorry.
the most famous and acclaimed movies of all time.
No. I always mix up which one the gif is from specifically, because all I know is there's two dudes with greasy black long hair or
That's true.
something. I guess.
Okay.
That's true. He
One
does
of
look
them
like
might
Tommy
be Johnny
Wiseau in
Depp.
that movie.
I just don't know.
But just speaking of Pokemon music, I feel like I also have to touch on the tie-in album to this movie, which included tracks from Donna Summer's The B-52s and Weird Al Yankovic.
Okay,
Like,
Weird Al,
what?
understandable. The B-52s?
The B-52s. I sent that in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that was?
I
Yes,
hated
it's
that.
a bad song. The
It
lyrics
is.
are just the prophecy from the movie.
It legitimately, it sounds like Misty. It sounds like
Does it?
Misty is singing.
What, the singer from the B-52s?
I guess? I don't know what the B-52s are, but apparently they're Misty.
They're the people
But
who
it
wrote
wasn't
Love
a rock.
Shack.
It was a rock lobster. That guy
And
sounds
Rock
like
Lobster.
Misty.
Brrrr, brrrr. You know how Rock Lobster goes. I don't have to
Am I
sing
wrong,
it.
though? Does it not sound like Misty?
You're living in your own private Idaho. That guy. It's Misty. How many medium cut B-52 songs do I have to sing?
Love Shack.
Okay,
Anyway.
that one I get.
They talk about having sex in a shack for like three whole minutes.
Yeah, that's the one I would know.
That's
I
who
got
I
me
want
a
singing my
car.
Pokemon
It's
music.
as big as a whale, and it's about to.
It's about to set
as,
sail.
It's as big as a Lugia.
Oh.
Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
This is a PSA. Do not lewd the legendary birds. Thank you. This has been a PSA. Please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tasha.
That will be all.
Have you just stumbled upon something you wish you hadn't seen?
I'm listening back to the song right now
Oh, the B-52s
to make sure
one.
that it doesn't sound like Misty.
Okay.
No, it does!
Just
I gotta say, this movie does several things that I think all Pokemon movies do. The first one being that, like, the Pokemon show is about Pokemon and catching Pokemon and being Pokemon trainers and making friends and solving problems.
Right.
And then we go
Yeah.
to the movie and suddenly we're talking about astronomical gods whose fate of the universe is in their wings, and we're like, oh, we're doing this now. That's fine.
They have
And
to
then-
raise the stakes. It's
Yeah.
the Marvel problem.
But it
It's-
also can't affect the show in any way, shape, or form.
Right, yeah,
This
exactly.
is vital.
is it kind of like I mean, it's similar to Dragon Ball Z, and also there's a freezer in both of those things. I'm detecting a pattern, so...
Freezer and Frieza.
We're on to you, old anime. But, and then it also does the thing where we gotta do a lot, and we have to establish it before we get to, like, the fun part. So the beginning of this movie, before we really before like the gang figures out what's going on, is really just like going to different places and talking to different people and just like mock speech. Like it doesn't like so much so. I'm not very familiar with the TV show in this era. I had no idea who Tracy was. I knew he was the guy that replaced Brock, but I didn't know what his name was. And they don't say his name the whole film, so I didn't know who he was. Because we gotta be doing other things. We're going so quick. We don't have time to say Tracy's name at any point in the whole film.
No, Tracy's cool. He wants to be an artist. That's why his name's
like
Tracy.
Him. Why doesn't anybody say his name?
I thought it was the only
not
one,
liking Tracy.
It's
like, I miss Brock.
I'm sorry, no, I thought I was the only one that had no idea who the fuck Tracy was.
Yeah, no, they don't say who it is.
This movie was
like,
my
hey,
only...
Ash, what's up?
No, this was the only guy, and then I just knew that Brock was running around like the most, like, D-level extra actor in the background, like, pretending like the Pokemon was going crazy, but he's really just holding him in his arms, like, Yeah, sorry. No, I'm with you, Tabby. I am a Brock stan here.
I love that boy.
This is also the weird phase in the Pokemon TV show where they did their first season, which was like, we're doing the video game. And they're like, what's another video game? And they were like,
oh crap.
There's another gym league that's on some islands. We could go there. You're like, okay, sure, fine, I guess. The Orange Islands, that's fine, whatever.
Why are they orange?
Oh, God.
Because the red, blue, and yellow and green ones were already taken, Adeline. Didn't you watch the movie?
Oh, my God.
But, oh, really? Oh.
No, that's not why.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's like, guess we gotta name them the Orange Islands. I used all the other colors.
The Gray Islands. It could be the
Purple Islands.
I said the Purple Islands.
The
already.
Pink Islands.
The Pink Islands.
The Beige Islands.
The Fuchsia Islands.
The Brown Islands.
Okay, so let's talk about the sort of inciting incident here, in which Pokemon, or Ash and his friends, get, like, moved off track to a mysterious island.
Uh-huh.
And they show up, and they're just like, oh, it's so great that you happened to show up. It turns out that just coincidentally, you are integral to our entire cultural experience.
And
you're
also,
like, oh,
we're all
tight.
white people in Islander people clothes. Don't worry about it. Like,
right.
It's a weird fine line. It's like, it doesn't feel racist, but you feel like it probably is.
Right.
Like, when the lady who's, like, the central maiden of the whole ceremony, or, like, she was, but she also talks like Karen from, like, the PTA.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I have feelings.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's a weird thing because, like, they're not white because they're Japanese. Like, that's...
Yeah.
True.
So
There's
it's a weird... It's not exactly, like, a super easily diagnosable problem. You're like, I don't know, there's a lot of moving pieces here, and I'm not quite sure how to navigate them.
Yeah, because we're also in the Pokemon world, and you're dressed up as Pokemon, so it's not...
Right.
Yeah.
You're not, like... You've created your own thing, kind of. I just don't know what to do about it.
But yeah, and so apparently, like, their tradition is just to hope that a stranger happens to show up and then make them do a bunch of stuff.
They're waiting for an e-boy to arrive.
Yeah.
That's
and I guess an e-boy shows up every year because they seem like they know what they're doing, so...
Is it the same time every year, or is it just whenever an e-boy shows
Whenever
up?
an e-boy shows up.
They're like, hurry, get in place!
Get the costumes together!
Ash is kind of an e-boy. Like, just from his look, if Pokemon weren't a thing, if you saw somebody in Ash's outfit on TikTok, you'd be like, oh, yeah.
Ash
like the hat and the fingerless gloves.
Yeah, man.
Like, give him, like, one of those, like, chain necklaces, and he's gone.
Yeah.
And, like, part his hair down the middle, and
Right,
that's it.
and then it's Renegade.
Yeah.
Ash is simultaneously somehow, like, he's an e-boy, like, he would be on TikTok, but also he would be the one who acts like an old lady when using it, like, he doesn't know how to use it properly, and so you just get these weird, super close, blurry cams of, like, look, it's my Pikachu, and, like, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I like to think that Ash just does not know what the fuck he is doing most of the time.
Right.
Well, because he's a 12-year-old, so I don't think any 12-year-old truly knows how to use any social media app.
Yeah.
Isn't he, like, 10?
I mean, look, my whole take is that just, like, the ages of Pokemon things are nothing.
How old are
They're just, like, the characters, and they're
I'm 10.
Okay, Google. How
Whatever
old
that
is
means.
Ash Ketchum?
I mean, like, canonically they say 10 years old at the beginning, but it's been 80 years since then. So nothing means
Exactly.
anything.
I mean,
So 90.
I guess. If that's how
by
you want to
Jackson's
think about
logic.
it.
By
I
Jackson's
mean, look,
math.
to me, it's like Marvel Comics, right? Marvel Comics, it constantly just is whatever you want it to be. When Brian Michael Bendis wrote X-Men, he was like, oh, they're gonna go back in time and meet themselves from when they first started the X-Men, and it's gonna be the 60s. So they're simultaneously, like, 30 or so in the present day, and, like, 15 or so in the 60s. That's just my take. I don't care. Right? That's how I think about Pokemon. It just doesn't
I'm
matter.
in charge. I wrote the comic book.
Right.
This is what we're doing.
But yeah, and so then Ash, apparently it's all his responsibility to, like,
Yeah.
carry out their rituals. It's just like, whatever. And
Yeah.
and there's that great moment where they're like, Ash, you gotta go out and get the orbs. And he's like, that's tight, I'm gonna go do that. And then he goes, and like 10 seconds later, she's like, what was he thinking? He can't go get those orbs. It's too dangerous. And
It's my fault that he's going to get those orbs.
Chase him.
Like, God, make up your mind, please.
God, like, okay, Ash can sometimes be annoying. I cannot stand him in this movie. And I think it's because he's suddenly, because in the other movies, he's not the chosen one. He just is doing what he thinks is right. So there's something, like, honorable about, like, his mission. But in this one, they're just like, you're the chosen one, Ash. Your friends don't matter. Just go do it. And then he cries, like, for 10 minutes before doing it, and during it, and after it. And I'm like, kid, just fucking do it. You have to pick up an orb and come back here. Stop crying about if you can't do it.
No, shut up. He only cries one time, Adeline.
He
cries
but
one
then his
time
boat
because he has to
explodes,
run
and then
across
he's
the
like,
tundra.
I failed.
He has to run across the tundra and not get exploded by 3 big birds. You would cry
But
too.
before he knows that, he's just like, what if I can't do it?
He's 12
what if I
years
fail? I can't do
old.
it. It's too hard. I can't do it. And then all of his Pokemon come out, and he's like, you guys think I should do it? Should I do it? What if I can't do it? I don't know what to do.
And they're like, oh my God, please stop crying.
Oh, Ash.
Charizard, which translates to get the fuck moving. Like, please,
all
we
his
need to
Pokemon
go.
come out, and Ash is like, do you guys dare me to go get the orb?
They're like, yes,
Yes.
the world will end, Ash.
Yes,
This
we
isn't,
dare
do
you.
you want to go do this? It's go do that, please.
I very much like the sequence where Professor Oak and Ash's mom are hanging out, and then it starts snowing, and they're like, oh, what's up with this?
This is weird. And then his bike gets stolen by a bunch of Diglets.
Right. And that was another thing I made note of in the difference between the Japanese and the English versions, is that in the Japanese version, they just play, like, kind of somber, scary music through that whole scene. But in the English version, they can't handle that, and when the Diglets show up, they have to be like, a doop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, like, goofy music as he's, like, getting his bike stolen. But, like, I don't know, it's way cooler and way more effective when it's just, like, somber and scary the whole time.
Yeah. It's snowing in summer. Today is the days when it's sunny all the time.
And Ash and his friends.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I will say. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I love Ash's mom's role in this movie, because I gotta say, it makes no sense.
Yeah, why was she there?
She's just worried.
So on the news, it's like, oh, shit's going down in the Orange Islands. And she's like, oh, that's where my son's on vacation. So 2 highly trained professors go to deal with that situation. And just bring Ash's mom also.
Yeah.
Because Professor Oak and
Ash's...
Ash's mom are like definitely dating.
Yeah, they have a passionate romantic relationship. And
but then
he's using his resources to help her.
But then the helicopter crashes.
Right. As happens sometimes.
Ash saves the world. And then
she's
the mom
like, oh, okay.
climbs down the mountain and goes, Ash, you're in so much trouble, you piece of shit! And that's just all she does the whole movie.
Here's why I like it. Here's my defense of
okay,
this
tell me
point.
why you like it.
The whole movie, you were complaining just moments ago, Adeline. This is
Yes.
a fake strategy. I'm using your own words against you.
Okay, great. I don't remember what I said, so good luck.
You complained about the stakes being too huge. That it was all about the end of the world and everything's ending.
Yes.
But when we get to the end of it and we're on the other side, suddenly we get pulled back. We get pulled back into the personal stakes of just a mother being worried for her child. It brings us back into the reality of the situation as we can relate to it. It's a little bit more closely related to our everyday lives, Adeline. That's why
I do like what she says, but in the context of the full story, I do not think that it fits. Especially because then we go straight back into the television series where Ash just pieces out again on his mom.
I think that it functions well, like Jackson says. I think that it has its function. I think it does it well. But I see where you're coming from, Adeline.
We have to establish a lot that doesn't make sense and doesn't fit into the story
well, would you
in
rather
order to get that
just,
one piece of relief.
Pop up at the end and just be like, Ash, you're in so much fucking trouble.
But I love the moment when she shows up and Ash is just like, Mom? Like,
yeah.
Because why is she there?
But, also, just in the Japanese version, there's a much better exchange between the two of them, where his mom is just like, Ash, what do you want to do with your life? And he's like, well, I want to be a Pokemon Master, of course. And she's like, okay, tight. Just remember that, and you can't be a Pokemon Master if you're fucking dead. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's way better than the English version.
It's way better.
Or she's like, just have the natural disaster be closer to my house. Which doesn't make any sense for anything, but it's fine. Thanks, Mom.
And I'm just gonna say it. I like all the goofy sailboat stuff. I like when they do a backflip. I like when they pull out the sail and fly it up the stairs. I think all that's good.
Uh-huh.
That girl has some muscle in her arms.
Yeah, dog, and she's like piloting the boat.
Wait, speaking of that girl and all of these characters in this movie, I remember as a kid just having insane crushes on all of them.
Right.
Especially that girl.
Even Tracy?
No, not Tracy. Everyone but Tracy. Fuck that guy. He's fine. I mean,
sorry, her name
Melody.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was a brat. I don't remember hating
her. Yeah, I was gonna say, even as a kid, I remember being like, I know I'm supposed to like Melody, but I was just like, you should participate in your culture. I think that's important.
Okay, I'm the worst with names. What was the name of the girl with the green hair?
I don't know. Nobody cares.
They don't say her name. They don't tell you who she is, why she's here. She's got a boat and she has a boat.
She's just a character from the TV show. She's not important.
Boat lady.
I like her.
She drives the boat.
She drives the boat. I like her.
But, yeah, I don't know, and, I don't know, going back to the stuff with the boat, it's so goofy and silly.
Yes.
But it, I don't know, it works for me.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, I mean, I don't know, let's talk about the horny energy of this movie, which is, a little bit higher than background level for Pokemon.
Then it probably should be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, all I can say is that it is definitely kind of weird in the English version. It just is a little bit less weird in the Japanese version because the dialogue is better, and that just inherently makes it more palatable.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do think that it does lend itself to a nice moment for Misty at the end, because just in terms of her whole character arc as a character, I mean, obviously it's not a real character arc because it just is going to go back to nothing when the show starts up again. But, like, the whole idea is, like, their whole relationship is built on this, like, relationship where she's following him around because he ruined her bike, and she's like, oh, you gotta get me back for the bike. But obviously they are friends with each other and care about each other, but there's always this, like, facade they put up, you know? And, like, the moment when she decides to, like, swim out and rescue Ash is, like, a full acknowledgement. Like, whether it's romantic or friendship or whatever. Like, obviously the movie is positing that it's romantic, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, not a romantic kiss, Jackson. It's not romantic.
It's just that... But
it's a kiss of relief.
It has to do with Misty, like, dropping the facade and just being like, I care about Ash and I want to go save his life because he's important to me as a person, you know? Which I like. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I really like that too. I don't like earlier in the movie where we spend just so long going, are you his girlfriend? You look like his girlfriend. I'm not his girlfriend. Are you sure you're not his girlfriend? For like just so long.
You're the handsomest chosen one in years.
Like, bitch, you're like 12.
You're my favorite e-boy.
But
We're
that
all
is
10. All of us are 10.
But I feel like that is how preteens talk to each other. When they figure out that somebody has a crush, they just lay in and will never let it go.
That is fair.
Yeah.
I also like when Pikachu talks to Zapdos with the lightning. I think that's good.
That's fun.
I forgot
Pikachu
about that
doesn't
scene.
do a lot this movie.
Except
that's
for, like,
true.
stress the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just very anxious.
Yes. I really like when Ash has made the chosen one and they're like, all right, you gotta go and, like, get the orbs. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. And then Pikachu steals his hat in order to make him go do the thing that he was already in the process of getting up and doing. Yeah. I really like that.
Because he's nervous. He's got Pokemon intuition.
Yo.
You're not going fast enough. I have to run to the edge of the Arctic to just stare at a bunch of birds fighting and do nothing to help, but I just gotta.
What were you saying, Tosh?
No, I just, like... I'm laughing because also, side note, but like we'll circle back to the weird sexual energy in this movie in a second because I have thoughts on that. I have thoughts on that. No, listen, Tabby, there's things, okay. But side note, can I just say I really appreciate the fact that I don't know if this was different between the Japanese and English ones, but the fact that they've got their whole like chosen one prophecy that's been engraved in stone for fucking who knows how long and everything, and they're like, the world will turn to ash, and they're like, oh my god, Ash, that it's you. And it's like,
right, yeah.
Hey, yo,
wait, is that
so
the line that they draw?
I don't know.
Yes, they specifically say, that means you, Ash.
Yeah, exactly.
And but then he's also the actual chosen one, and so it really cracks me up. I'm like, hey, it's a nice change of pace that it's not all a fucking riddle. They just say his name. It's just in there.
Right, yeah.
The world will turn to Brian.
But yeah, like, obviously that doesn't happen in the Japanese version, because his name isn't Ash in the Japanese version. And, like, there is still, a prophecy, and they're like, oh, and everything will get out of whack, and then Lugia will show up, and it'll be this whole thing, and you've got to get the orbs. But they don't say, and the chosen one will get the orbs. They're just like, somebody needs to do that, or else the world will end, and Ash just happens to be the person to do it. And I guess the world turns to Ash was just something clever the localization team thought up and thought they were really smart for.
I think it's definitely clever as hell. It's just it's just silly. It's just
Do you think that they were like, oh, guys, guess what I just thought of?
Oh my god.
They could say the world turns to ash, and that means you.
Your name is Ash.
Okay, sorry. So that was my tangent. Back to the weird sexual energy. What is the deal with having these legendary Pokemon with like deep ASMR voices? Because it wasn't. I don't care if I'm calling myself out right now. I'm just saying, like, because
you
guys
are.
I heard the song and like.
Sure are.
What?
I thought you were gonna talk about like the characters. I thought you weren't just gonna say that Lugia was hot.
No. Mewtwo, who's like angsty, deep man voice, and then we've got Lugia, who's like vaguely holy figure adjacent deep man voice. And then like I haven't seen the recent ones, but it's like it seems like every time they bring in a bigger like
Entei. There's Entei.
Yeah, Entei.
Okay,
Well,
Entei's fair.
Entei's different because
fair.
Entei's daddy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh my god.
Like, I'll accept that one, but I never for once thought that there was any possibility of Lugia fucking Ash. That was never a thought.
That's not what I'm saying.
My mind.
That's not what I'm saying. No. Oh my god.
Okay, wait. You know. Okay.
What are you about to say?
I don't have words anymore. I'm just saying to keep giving Pokemon weirdly sensual voices.
Sexy voices.
I'm not saying anything past that, and you can't prove it or hold anything against me.
All right.
But no,
Oh
okay,
my
wait.
God.
On the topic of like the noises that the Pokemon make, right, and the voice and the whatnot. And I know we already talked about this. Tosh did the bit where she walked away from the phone and stuff, but we didn't touch on Zapdos and what he sounds like, because it is by far the most ridiculous one. Because it's literally just like, ah!
He's in pain. He's getting shocked.
Constantly a
Don't
constant
think about
life
it.
of
Don't think
pain.
about it.
Oh my god.
Okay, I really needed to do that on mic.
I just really wanted to scream. So the
really
thing is,
was a
while me
blessing.
and Jackson were watching the movie, I thought it would be funny if I did the funny scream, but then I just tore my vocal cords apart because I haven't been talking for like 6 hours, and then I thought I would just scream like a bird that's being tortured, and that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that.
But just speaking of the prophecy and the holy whatever, I feel like this movie just kind of has like the Wreck-It Ralph problem, where they just like tell you things are a certain way, and you're like, okay, sure, fine. Like, oh, when Vanellope crosses the finish line, the game resets and she'll die. And you're like, okay, fine, I guess, if you say so. Like, I appreciate that you're just telling me and that I know that now, but it's like also just like, if you play the flute, then they'll stop fighting and everything will be fine and you get the orbs. Like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I guess that's fine with me.
I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't be why.
Right.
Yeah, the whole... I love when Lugia, like, gets attacked and falls into the water. And then they do that thing where they have to repeat that line in the prophecy, and they're like, oh, the song will bring him back. And they play it again, and then he comes back up, and he's like, I've been healed by the flute. But then he gets hurt
like,
again, and then he falls into the water again, and then everyone's like, oh, he's dead. And I'm like, play the flute again. You have that flute for a reason.
There's this moment I kind of like when they're on the Zapdos Island. And at this point, basically when he takes the second orb, he doesn't like go up to it and take it. It like just lands in front of him and he just figures he should pick it up. Because at this point in the story, there's no reason for him to be collecting orbs. He's no longer concerned about the tradition, and he hasn't figured out that the orbs are actually important yet. So I appreciate that he doesn't just thoughtlessly be like, oh, I'm gonna go get that orb. Because he doesn't have any motivation to. Like, they're smart that they, like, give him a genuine reason to pick it up, as opposed to just having him do it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just
That's a
me
good
when I play a
point.
video game. I'm like, this might be important later. I'm gonna get it just so I don't have to get it later.
Right.
Ugh, shiny. That's me.
I also like all the big fight sequences between the birds. I think they're all super tight.
Yeah, it's dope.
Oh, the special effects animation for Articuno's like ice beam
Yeah.
is like really cool looking.
Super tight.
Like,
It's very fun animation.
there was honestly a lot of cool touches with the animation that I loved, and like the fact that like when Lugia would like zoom out, but like right before he entered the water, all the weird like things on his back like flattened down and did like all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, completely unrelated from my previous comments on this episode, but like Lugia was my favorite legendary Pokemon as a kid.
Right,
like
yeah.
legit. Like I
wonder why.
I thought he was like a cool design, and then like I got older, I'm like, what the fuck? He's just got like hands. I don't like him anymore, but like as a kid I thought that was the coolest shit. I don't know, but like they did really good with a lot of the animation, and honestly like aged better than I expected, I think.
Yeah, when we were watching the original movie with Tabby, we kind of noted like this doesn't really look that much better than just like a regular Pokemon episode, you know? Like it was their first movie.
Wait. Did I ever mention? I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I'm gonna keep going. Did I mention the scene where like you can see like dust particles and like hair on one of the animation cells? Did I say that?
Oh yeah, you said that last episode.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, okay, good. Anyways, keep going.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Listen to our last Pokemon episode if you want to find out what the fuck Tabby's talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I could tell there was like an upped production value on this one. Like the first one was really disappointing, but this one is like I could see the extra effort going in to make it like a movie.
I love when Lugia starts to like get captured and he just has that moment where he just like goes berserk with like the big like orange laser beam that like blows up everything.
It fucking rips. It's so good.
It's I'm just laughing because like why the fuck did he do that? Like he just kind of
he's freaking out. He's upset.
Why are all these weird metal things attacking me?
I'm tied up and I can't use my hands.
Like,
hey, I need those.
Okay, also, why does this guy have like these rings and squares and like flying rings and squares that can just capture legendaries?
He built them.
Why did he do that?
Because he wanted to. Because he wanted to.
Well, I know,
catch
but
legendary
like,
Pokemon. Why you guys explain everything?
Oh my
A
god.
more appropriate question is how'd he do that?
With science.
Okay.
Look, here's the thing about science. We all know that when fire melts ice, it makes water, and then when you add electricity, it turns into life. That's the power that electricity holds. With the power of electricity, you can make some rings if you wanted to.
Okay.
The collector
Yeah,
can
That's
make
why the
some
world
rings
is ending.
for a treat. A little treat.
It's a treat.
Let's be bad.
You just reminded me though, Tabby, that there's like a sequence when the whole motley crew, the little goon squad here gets like captured accidentally, and so then the guy just has them like floating there in a cage because he's trying to get Zapdos and Moltres. And then he like comes out.
Yeah, they're just like wailing on these things.
It's so funny, but like he comes out, he's doing his like villain monologue, whatever, and he's like, "Oh man, yeah, without Articuno, you don't have the full set. Kind of sucks," or whatever. And then Missy's like,
You're disgusting! You act like Pokemon are something to be collected, like stamps or something. What's wrong with you?
and then I like realized I'm like, oh my god, we're just all Lawrence. He's just playing his.
Oh my god.
He's playing Pokemon.
He's playing Pokemon in game sense, and they're trying to act all high and mighty and like, you don't just collect them, you're supposed to. But like the phrase is literally catch them all, Misty.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing about the games. It's implied that whenever you're not playing the game, your guy goes in and is friends with all your Pokemon. That's what I choose to believe.
Yeah.
That's
the difference.
I don't know.
That's the difference. Lawrence is an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in Sword and Shield, they keep trying to guilt trip me because I'll check my Pokemon's memories and they're like, it's been sitting in a box for a long time and he's sad.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Right.
It's like,
I'm sorry.
Listen, you're level 12, and I'm fighting things that are like level 50. If you want to come out and just get killed, then be my guest.
I really like that the orbs are like kind of wedged into the statue mouths, and he has to like really exert some effort to pull them out. It's not like important to anything, but it's just a fun piece of like filmmaking, I guess. It makes it feel tactile and just memorable in a way that him just walking up and being like, "Oh, tight a ball," is, you know?
Yeah, like,
ooh, ball. It also makes even like, I do not remember this movie very well from my childhood because I was just always watching the third one over and over and over again. But what I do remember is I do remember the cool balls that were shiny. That's all I remember. So they did a good job.
Yeah.
God.
Right.
I wanted those like as an actual like little trinket or something that I could just
that
have
would
in
be
my
fun.
room as a kid.
I bet you could get those. I bet they're a thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh my
For
god.
like $50 at any comic book store.
God, right.
They're there. And they've been there for 20 years.
And there's also, I think my favorite shot in the movie is when they get to Slow King Island for the first time, and he only has 2 of the orbs, and they're like...
I've been waiting for you to mention Slow King, because
Right.
like that's your favorite evolution line, right?
I just like Slowbro. I like Mega Slowbro. He's my favorite Pokemon.
That's okay. I thought so. Okay, continue. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, Mega Slowbro is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and I'm like just crossing my fingers hoping that they bring Mega Evolution back for one of the DLC patches on Sword and Shield.
Honestly, Mega Evolutions were fun. They were
the
cool.
best.
They were.
And Mega
was the best
Slowbro
one,
is the best
definitely.
Pokemon. Anyway,
Swampert just gets beefy as hell. I love it.
Mega Swampert's also very good. But he's like, he has 2 of the orbs, he has to get the 3rd one, and Slow King is just like, oh yeah, you gotta go to that island. And he like looks at that island, and you can just see the 3 birds having this brutal battle like in the foreground. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I love that shot. I think it's so elegant. I don't know. There's also a
think one
moment, I don't know when this happens, but I wrote down that there's a moment when Lugia is like protecting Ash or something, and he gives him like a total like bro nod that I thought was really
Yeah.
funny.
I like at the very, very end when Lugia lands and he's like, you want to ride, Ash? And Ash just does a little like finger to his mouth like, little old me? And then gets on him again. And by like, I mean I hate it.
Okay, my favorite shot I think in the movie is when the like big ol' what the fuck is it called? Like his floating like fortress thingy?
Yeah, his
the
fortress, yeah.
Sky
Yeah,
ship,
yeah, like his fortress
Sky
like
High?
it crashes, right?
When his Sky High prototype.
Yeah,
His sky tank.
when it crashes into the second island. It's the second island, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
An island, one of the islands.
One of the 3 islands.
4 islands, Adeline.
4
Not counting the orange islands, of which there are 7.
but when it crashes, right, and they're like running down that thing that like crashes into the fortress after the fortress has crashed into the island, and then they
Right.
start rolling,
Yeah.
and then
Right,
like
yeah.
they like roll off screen, and then they come over this hill, and it's just Team Rocket booking it, leaving these kids behind.
Right. That's a fun one.
That's my favorite shot.
Oh, okay, I have one last Japanese-English thing I want to touch on.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Is it annoying that I've been doing this the whole podcast, or should I keep doing it in the future?
No, it's great. It's good insight.
You are the only one of us that has watched it, so you're bringing
Right.
research to the table.
Content.
That bit when they're attacking the cage that has Moltres in it, and it like explodes
Yeah.
and he gets out. There's
Yeah.
this extra line in the Japanese version where, because it's like Squirtle and Charizard and Pikachu, and Tracy's like, I wonder if this is a good idea, because when you add electricity to water, it oxidizes it and makes pure hydrogen, and when you add fire to that, everybody get down, and then it explodes. Which is like, like has kind of a basis in science. It's true on a certain level. Like,
I
it wouldn't
love
work
that.
out like that, but it's like, that's
Yeah.
not nothing. But they decided to cut that out of the English version. I guess just because they understand that, like, English audiences are less fun. They can't handle it when something isn't realistic, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're stupid.
Because they know CinemaSins are in America.
Listen,
I thought you were
if you're
gonna say
having
cinema-
three
say
magical
cinema.
animals all vomit their different magical powers onto a thing. You could just tell me that the combination of those 3 magic vomits breaks the thing. You don't need to
Right,
bring
no.
up like hydrogen and oxidization. Like, I don't care. I don't need to
Right.
know.
And that is true. That is also true.
Tabby, were you saying something? You're kind of quiet, so it was hard to...
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I thought, Jackson, that you were gonna say the word Sinigma, and I was very excited.
What? Why was I about to say
Cinema
that?
Enigma.
Why did you think I was going to say that?
You were saying a word, then the start of it sounded like Sinigma, and so I thought you were gonna use my word.
Well, I'm glad that's still in your lexicon.
Sinigma?
Wow!
Yeah, on our Power Rangers episode.
Tasch.
On our Power Rangers episode, Tabby described Power Rangers as a Sinigma, which is a cinema
It was
enigma.
Cinemanigma.
Right.
Oh my god.
Cinnamon enigma.
Tabby, patent that right the fuck now before anyone else takes
Jackson, someone appreciates me. Fuck
it.
you.
Trademark that shit.
Jackson.
That's a podcast or something waiting to happen.
Or something. Cinigma.
Cinemanigma.
Cinnamon enigma. It's dangerous. It's dangerous word.
No. Okay, look, it's pronounced cinnamon enigma.
No, it's Seminamigida, but
there's this weird bit at the end of the movie where Lawrence III like looks upon his wreckage and like picks up that Ancient Mew trading card, which was a promotional material for the first Pokemon movie.
Oh yeah.
And then he like looks off as if he's formulating a new evil plan, like they're teasing a sequel, which unless I'm mistaken, never comes to pass.
Oh, yeah,
it never happens.
Unless maybe that happens in the TV show and I just don't know about it.
Well, do you guys remember, what's the one with Latios and Latios?
Pokemon
that's
Heroes.
one of my favorite ones.
Okay, you know how there's like the two lady thieves or whatever that are kind of the antagonists and then they're not really...
Yeah.
I remember their names were Annie and Oakley.
Oh my god.
That's the worst.
In the end...
That's dumb.
I don't know why... I don't know why.
Sorry.
This is like the one thing I remember from that movie, but in the end credits, you see them in prison, right? And they're just like, they're like looking through like a book and like talking and whatever and stuff. But you see them pointing and stuff and looking, and you look in the book and it's got a big picture of the skyship and Lawrence from this movie.
Whoa! No way!
I thought you guys knew that.
Shit.
So yeah, that was the tie-in. I figure either that guy just got fucking arrested, or maybe he ran off and was like being a mad scientist, just secluded now or something.
Just somewhere else.
They like refer back to this, and it blew my mind as a kid.
Right. I wish we had an audience now more than ever, so that somebody who cares more about the Pokemon anime could tell us whether or not that ever amounted to anything. Like, when do they form the Masters of Evil and steal Pikachu, I guess? I don't know.
When does the Sinister Six happen?
Right, yeah, they're building up to a Pokemon Sinister Six that I want so fucking bad.
When does Pokemon Endgame happen and Arceus
Right.
or whatever snaps
God.
his hoof finger things, whatever. I don't know. I don't even remember what he looks like. God. They're all the same. They're just adding more hoops and spikes to them, okay?
Right. Okay, so here's what it is. Whoever the lame bad guy was from Pokemon Forever, he was... I don't remember who it was, but I remember there was one. There's not really a bad guy in Pokemon 3. But it's Lawrence III and Pokemon Forever guy, and Annie and Oakley from Pokemon 5, and they all team up to bring Mewtwo back from the dead. Does he die? I don't know.
No, he's not dead.
He does
to
not
get
die.
Mewtwo,
They have to go find him.
and
Yeah.
form an evil plan to use Mewtwo to destroy the world. And if nobody's made that yet, I'm about to. I'm gonna write that spec script.
TM.
Yeah.
Hold on. I forgot about the bad guy in Pokemon Forever. He looks like an idiot.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, hold on, I have to look this up.
Here. I've got...
Yeah, just put it in Discord.
He's just called Iron Masked Marauder?
Wait, what the
He
fuck?
sucks.
I don't remember that at all.
What is
He looks like a Mega Man villain.
Yeah,
He
no.
does.
Oh no, he's a member of Team Rocket. That's dumb. You look stupid. You're too stupid for Team Rocket. Shut the fuck up.
He does
this
look
like
like a
fan
robot
art?
master.
No, this is like the actual thing, and like...
Oh, this looks bad.
I mean, that's a bad picture, I think, that I found, but like...
Yeah, there we go.
Ugh.
Okay.
What?
I remember those Pokeballs.
Yeah,
I do not. I remember nothing of this movie.
Wait, which one is
dies
this?
at the end, and
That's all I remember. Is that Celebi dies.
right.
Pokemon Forever.
Oh, I don't think I've actually seen this one.
Oh,
yeah,
spoiler.
like the big legendary is
Spoiler alert,
Celebi.
Celebi dies.
But Celebi dies, and then Ash cries, and it comes back to life.
It's
They
rip.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
So, it's been out for so long. That's a
God
weird
damn.
one too. Wait, hold on. Where did the thing go? Sorry.
Wait, while we're at it, we should get a picture. I want to see a picture of Annie and Oakley, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Right.
they've got the dumbest hair.
Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, yeah! Yeah, I actually, the one with Latios and Latios is the one that I have on DVD.
Oh,
Right.
Oh my god.
Oh,
fancy.
Oh, I didn't
I've
remember that
got
they
the
looked like
first
that.
one on VHS, but
Oh, is there also a orb in Pokemon Heroes?
There's
Have they been building a
Yeah,
cinematic universe this whole time and we didn't know
Around
about it?
orbs?
there's a spirit orb, and it's the whole thing where, remember, Latios like dies and then becomes the new spirit orb.
Because
Sure,
everyone
yeah.
has to die.
I believe you.
You collect all of the orbs and you snap
this'll
your
make
fingers.
sense the further we get into
Right.
like our
God.
Pokemon dive.
I was thinking maybe we could call it quits after Pokemon 3, but now I'm thinking we're riding this thing all the way out. I gotta know what's going on with this.
to get to
I need a
endgame.
reason for you to keep inviting me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I also just want to watch Pokemon 3 or whatever with Entei, whether you guys bring me back or not, because I need to
Okay.
figure out what the fuck you guys are talking about and why you guys think
my
Because I
Entei
need to
is
hear
hot.
him
Okay.
talking a deep,
It's
sexy
so
voice.
good. I like
Santasha.
genuinely love the
Yeah,
third
it's
Pokemon
great.
movie, and
So,
I will defend it.
Did we describe Pokemon 3 to you last time, Tosh?
Well, you might like. Here's the thing. I did see it like maybe once or twice. I feel like I saw
Right.
it once as a kid, but we didn't have it on video. But we had 2000 on video, so like I watched 2000 a million times, and I was always like interested. But it's like I never got the chance to go over to my friend's house and borrow the VHS or whatever. And like,
Right, yeah.
I just never got my hands on it because I can't pirate. When the internet, like I was baby, okay.
I was 7. I didn't know how to do that.
So Pokemon 3, here's the plot. This might be the third time we're doing this on the podcast, but I don't care. I need everybody to know.
Okay. I remember
little
the little
girl-
girl making
Little
a
girl, her
wish.
dad is an archaeologist. He
Okay.
specializes in legendary Pokemon. He discovers the unknown, but the unknown are so powerful that he dies.
Whoa,
The
fuck,
unknown...
what?
Yeah,
Like,
the dad
actually-
dies.
This is how the movie starts.
Yeah, the unknown find their way to his daughter, and they grant her a wish. And this is all just sort of some shoe leather to just get to the point.
Oh my God.
She wishes to have her dad back, and her dad comes back in the form of an Entei. And
Because
the little girl...
Her dad would always read her this bedtime story about the legendary Pokemon, and her favorite one was Entei.
Yeah.
So they bring the dad back, but as Entei.
Oh my
And
god.
then, so through the unknown that are, like, attached to her now, this little girl has, like, infinite power, and she builds this, like, crazy glass kingdom, and they have to, like, go find her and get through to her to convince her that everything the unknown are creating isn't real, and it's not the same as having your real dad back, and you're hurting people by doing this.
Oh my
It's
god.
So cool.
It's
insane.
so good.
It's crazy.
It's so good.
That's
Well,
actually
and it's so sad because
good.
I think she sees Ash's mom like on TV
Right.
talking about how much she loves Ash. And I think her mom is also dead. So she's like, I wish that was my mom. And so so Entei kidnaps Ash's mom.
Yeah.
And
remember
Ash's
that
mom is
now.
like in the fortress with this little girl. And she's kind of doing the same thing on the inside where like the mom is like basically hypnotized and isn't reacting a lot. And it's so good. There's so many layers. It's
rips.
so good.
It rips.
It's a great film.
That's really cool.
Yo, hey, Pokemon, why the fuck aren't you guys doing psychological thrillers anymore? Like,
Yeah.
give me one of those.
Back in the 90s when there was good music, good clothes, and good Ash.
Oh, fuck.
And all of the villains had sexy voices, apparently. To some.
Listen, I'm just saying, I'm saying that Baby Tosh remembered, but also I feel like I was just paying attention to voices for like some reason, and then later I was like, oh yeah, I guess I just am obsessed with that, and now I'm here.
And then it was now, and then I don't know what happened.
No one knows.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I want to say about this movie is just that the music is all better in the Japanese version. There's there's like a really intense like slide guitar rock and roll song that plays during the bit on the ocean at the beginning, and then the end is not a dramatic shitty ballad. It's like this like hardcore Japanese rap song that rips.
That's really fun.
Like, it's
cool.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna have to watch that now. At least the end of it.
Because this was... so I guess this was right off the heels of Titanic, culturally. And I guess they were just like, we need a
ballad.
A shitty ballad to finish
You know
our,
what
our
7-year-olds loved?
Is
the Titanic.
Emotional ballads.
Oh my god. I remember hating that song so much because they also, like, they dubbed it in, or like maybe they just had the English version, but I assumed that it was originally Japanese and then they had the English words, but like the same quote you started the episode with, they were trying to sing that like super emotional and heartfelt, and it was even as like a 7-year-old, I was like, this is cringy. What the fuck? It was so bad.
You just invented that word on the spot because you knew.
But yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't in the Japanese version, no ballads. But you know who likes that ballad a lot was Herman Cain, because he quoted it like 4 times while he was running for president.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Intentionally?
So, okay, here's the story. He did it the first time. He just said, like, the first time he did it, he just said, like, a wise person once said, and then he said that. And people were like, yo, that's from the Pokemon the movie 2000. And then the second time he did it, he was like, I heard this at the 2000 Olympics opening ceremony. And everyone was like, no, you didn't. That's from the Pokemon movie. And then he said it a couple more times after that, but from that point on, he just said, like, this is from the Pokemon movie, but still, it speaks to me.
Oh my god, imagine
saying it.
Imagine being that guy.
I mean,
and he still says that he heard it. He was like, they must have used it at the Olympics, because I remember hearing it at the Olympics. Everyone's like, they didn't.
I mean, he got the 2000 part right, though.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
God damn it. Okay, I remembered, oh, wait, no. While we're on the subject of, like, the music and stuff, hearing the tune that plays, right? Like, the famous, like, wait, play this and the Logia, then the thing and whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
When that played, like, at the very beginning of the movie, and I heard it for the first time in, like, 20 years, I was just like, oh my god. That was it was a very good moment for me. That was fun. I like that little ditty. I think it's pretty.
It's
and I know infinitely less about music than you do, Jackson.
Yeah.
But
Right.
and I'm not saying that all of the music in this movie is good, but I like that one.
Right, yeah. Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm going on Letterboxd to look up a 1-star review for the conclusion. And apparently out of all the people I follow on Letterboxd, only one person has logged this movie, and it's film critic David Sims, who gave it 1 star.
Nice.
No, he didn't write a review.
Damn.
You guys keep talking. I gotta look for something for a second.
Why would you give it 1 star and then not tell me why? I want to know why you didn't enjoy this film.
I found the panel, or rather the frame that is bad in this one, because there was the one where you could see like the hair and shit
and, like,
in the last movie, but for this one it's after Misty like saves Ash after like just diving into the ocean. Mm-hmm. And the paint that they did on her pink jacket is just like done really really poorly. And it's like just like you could just see the brush strokes, and like I think that's really cool, but it also looks like shit.
Do you have a screenshot?
So that's my. Oh yeah, hold on.
Because
I have the movie pulled up right now, just like skimming through it.
Oh man. So Wait, do we have like respective bits that we bring when we like guest on a thing where Tabby finds like these weird?
No, that's my thing
distorted
only.
cells. Yeah. Because
No, how dare you?
I'm saying like if that's Tabby's thing, then mine could be weird voice acting.
The sexy voices.
Connections. No. That's-
Right.
Okay. But on that note, I was looking up a couple of the voice actors just out of curiosity.
Right.
Yeah.
And like let's see. For some reason I never put 2 and 2 together, or I just forgot, but that Misty and Jessie are voiced by the same lady. And she also voices Jigglypuff in Super Smash Brothers, so I thought that was
Oh, nice.
funny.
Oh, that is cool.
But also Tracy, the weird unknown dude that's just kind of there, whatever. He was voiced by Ted Lewis, who I don't know if there's multiple versions of the TV series, but he did voice James at one point. But now James and Brock are voiced by the same dude, who's someone else. But the guy who voices Tracy,
They really just can't make up their minds.
I don't know. I mean, and this was also the 90s, back when voice acting was the Wild West, and you could have Chris Sabat voicing 40 characters at the same time in the same show. So, but what I didn't know was that the guy who voices Tracy also voices Giovanni.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
I thought that was
We
weird.
got a promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but it was pretty funny that the guy who voices Lawrence the Third, his name is Neil Stewart. I was trying to find more info on him, but this is like the only voice role he did.
What?
I'm trying to tell my roommates to be quiet.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to us.
So
I was thinking
Sorry.
that Lugia's voice did sound kind of familiar, though. Is he somebody that I might recognize from something?
besides
Besides my
I did try to
erotic
find him.
dreams?
So his voice actor is, oh my god, listen. All right. Eric Rath is the name of the guy who voiced him. And I couldn't
Okay.
find anything about him. He did like a couple of roles on IMDb. Other than that, he just kind of disappeared. But then I randomly found his LinkedIn page. So, I
Oh.
mean,
Oh, we can hit this guy up.
we could try.
Hey, do you want to be on No Nerds Allowed?
Oh, I would love if we could get him on No Nerds Allowed.
so
God damn.
So there's that. Honestly, the funniest part though for me was
I have
that
a LinkedIn. I could do that. I should.
Jackson,
You
Listen,
have
I
the
cannot
power.
handle
We have the
talking to an
technology.
actual celebrity or even famous person. I can't handle that.
there he is.
Send me a link to his LinkedIn.
It's-
Fuck. Okay.
So,
I might try to follow up on that.
it would honestly be
That's
funny
awesome.
as hell if you do.
Oh,
So
I mean,
Is
like,
he on Twitter?
no, I can't find anything about this man's, and I don't even know if he uses this page.
Are you sure it's the same guy? Like, does he have voice acting
It's
credited as his?
Yes,
Stuff?
and also it's the same picture as his IMDb. So like,
Okay, gotcha.
But
I don't know. With a name like Eric Rath, like, how much luck are we actually going to have with this guy?
no.
He sounds
be
fucking
really
intense.
angry.
Okay, I feel like that's a good note to end it
Yeah.
on. Just this call to action.
Well, I actually had one last one that would just
go for
really
it.
cracked me up. So Lawrence the Third is voiced by a guy named Neil Stewart, and I tried to find stuff about him. I couldn't find a LinkedIn page for him, but I looked, and it's like even his IMDb page is just barren. He only has like a couple things on there. I found more information about this man on the Pokemon Wiki than the IMDb or anywhere else. For some reason, the Pokemon Wiki
Right.
knows that he is like a stage actor in England somewhere. But the only
Right.
reason I don't know, like, I can't verify any other sources, but apparently the Pokemon Wiki is really well connected. They just know shit. So
Okay, wow, yeah, fair enough.
Wow.
I thought I would point that out.
Because it's Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo knows. No
Nintendo
one
knows
does
everything.
what Nintendo's.
Oh my god.
Alright, do you guys want to hear a 1-star review of Pokemon the Movie 2000?
Yeah,
Yes!
absolutely.
Oh wait, do you guys want to plug your stuff again before we do that?
Oh, sure.
Where do you want to
Tasha, you
direct
get a
people?
second chance.
Fuck. Hi, Tosh Draws. Go there.
Okay.
And you're in Cosmonaut Tabletop, our variety
fuck,
hour.
Yeah, sorry. Tabby, I need to hire you as my like my social
Your
media
manager.
Sure, I need
Your hype
money.
man.
Sorry. Yeah, hi, sorry. I am on 2 podcasts. One is Cosmonaut Tabletop. We play tabletops. And then I'm also on Find Us Alive with 2 of these nerds. And that's it.
Yeah. Guess which ones?
Yeah. I'll give you 3 whole guesses.
Yeah.
And then I am on Twitter. I do art and animation. My handle is Tabster Blaster.
She's so fucking good. Go follow her right now. Do it.
And I'm also on in Find Us Alive, which is at Site107 on Twitter. With 2 of these nerds, I'll give you 3 guesses.
Here's the guess. I don't do fucking anything.
No, you do art?
I do
Have you
art.
ever plugged your art?
I'm really bad about posting my art. Maybe that's what I'll do in quarantine, is that I'll, like, actually get a schedule and start posting the art that I do.
Do it.
Yeah!
Okay, and also at No Nerds Pod on Twitter. And if you want to, you can email us at nonerdspod@gmail.com. I keep saying to do that. Nobody has done it yet. If you have, like, questions or requests, you could do, like, a mailbag or something. I don't know. Ooh. I can make some content out of it. We can say your name on the air or whatever if you just do it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's all we'll do.
Cool.
Okay, so this is a 1-star review of Pokemon the Movie 2000. This user says, literally, Ash is the worst part about these movies. He's a fine side character, but when he's forced into the spotlight, he just becomes the blandest thing in sight. I don't really expect much from these films, but a decent antagonist would be nice. I really have no more words for this lazy excuse of a movie. Literally, bruh, moment. Part 2.
Oh my gosh, a hater! Wow!
And those are just for context. Literally, bruh, moment. Part 2 are each on different lines with periods after them.
Oh my god.
That's what I like to call cringe.
Oh, cringe!
Wow, look, it's cringe. We better not catch that one.
This movie just posted cringe.
That was such a bad job!
Anyway, this is No Nerds Allowed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you!
And I'm sorry.
And my favorite part is when Ash is forced into the spotlight. Are you new here? He's the protagonist, my guy.
I'm gonna write an album called Bruh Moment Part 2.